we all have a very different background, but we were tasked to create one innovation that are feasible and scalable. Although even until the end, the dynamic was still rough.
Oh.
But we did end up becoming really. So before coming to ACIYLS, is that I have a preconceived idea of what entrepreneurship meant, and it's more on sort of money and business and trading and how we can make value, sort of like that. The most important lesson that I learned is that entrepreneurship, it's not about creating something new, but rather one goes to the people who often find themselves in dilemma, contemplating, or they feel that they are not good enough to join this type of program. That is not true. I would say eye-opening and new realization that I had there. They don't all have perfect English.
As a start, maybe you can introduce yourself and also the summit that you attended.
Okay.
Yeah.
So hello everyone, my name is Athari and I'm one of the ACIYLS alumni in 2025. So recently I attended ASEAN-China-INDIA Youth Leadership Summit, which was organized by the OSG Alliance in Singapore. So the summit focuses on building entrepreneurship and leadership skills among youth. So they brought about around 114 youth from across ASEAN, China and India to join this program and work on innovating a solution based on sustainability as well as community challenge.
This is not your first time attending this kind of spaces, right? So how's the experience this time compared to the ones that you have attended previously?
Yeah. So prior to ACIYLS, I did have experience in attending international workshop, but it was a bit different in a way that the ACIYLS is focused more on competition rather than just focus on building sort of soft skills or leadership skills or entrepreneurship skills. Initially, prior to this, I attended one workshop which is on just creating a narrative around just energy transition in ASEAN, which is in Bali. So during this workshop in Bali, what we did was more on hands-on activities and then also a discussion on how we can build the renewable narrative in Brunei, and we did learn about innovation there. Like,
does it mean that the Bali one is more of like you learn something, it's more of like exposure, but there's no kind of like stake, nothing on the line per se, whereas
it's not a competition. I would say, I don't know how to compare it between the two because it's different, but it's definitely the diversity and the sort of the ASEAN context, working as an ASEAN together and building a similar narrative, working together. That
element is the same.
And also both focus on sustainability.
Okay.
So it's called Real Talk ASEAN. Real Talk, RE means a renewable energy, Real Talk ASEAN. So we did a lot more on hands-on activities and workshop discussion and presentation, and each country sort of built a narrative upon that. We learned how to communicate what's best for our community, sort of like that. They help us, guide us in creating this narrative. While in ACIYLS, we learn more on very practical skills on entrepreneurship, but we also did a few workshops, and also we attended a few talks as well. So it's different in that sense. Yeah.
Which did you enjoy more?
The two is very different, but in Bali it was more relaxing, and I get to take in the sort of the content that I learned during that day. It was a 4-day program, so it was more relaxing, and there were few people. There's nothing on stake. There's no like competition. So it was more like learning, something like that. So, but during ACIYLS, it's a lot more stressful. Within the 6 days. We only we have to use all the days to work on that problem. Yeah, to create something. It was like also a competition, so it was more stressful. Yeah, I definitely prefer the. But the learning part, there was more learning to do in ACIYLS, so it's much more fulfilling there.
Thinking about this whole experience that you have in Singapore, the ACIYLS, like what is the highlight to you this whole 7 days you were there, right?
Definitely the highlight of this whole ACIYLS program is definitely making friends and making connections. So during the program, there were around 114 other delegates, right? And they all came from different countries, and also working with them is one very distinct experience that I have. Definitely one of the highlights of my year in 2025. It's because there's just so much that I learned working with this 6 people that has a very different background than me. So ACIYLS program, during the summit, what we got to do is that we were divided into groups of 6 people with 19 groups altogether, and each group came from different countries. So in my group there were 6 people. So I'm the one from Brunei. I have another one from China, Singapore, India, and the Philippines, as well as Laos. So we all have a very different background, but we were tasked to create one innovation that are feasible and scalable within ASEAN-China-India region. So that was actually hard because as a whole, there's going to be a lot of differences. There's a lot of different cultural cultural and practice and overview of an outlook of life, basically. So initially when we were introduced about the problem statement, which is on the resilient city as well as waste management, so all of us kind of have a very different solution. So my team, we have a different, we all wanted to go for the waste management problem, but each one of us actually came up with a very different solution. Like one wanted to go with the smart bin, another one wants to go with an tracking apps and all of that. So we have to work and compromise with each other. So during the discussion, during the times that we have to come up and refining our ideas, there were a lot of arguments, and it was very, very difficult. So I learned it the hard way that we have to learn to compromise sort of in a way, because this time around, like the groups is not the people that we chose. So the group was actually given to us.
Okay.
But during the Brunei national competition, my group is the people that I chose, sort of. So we get to select people based on their skills and all that matches with the group. But during the ACIYLS in Singapore, we didn't get to choose that. So people just have to fill in the role, whether or not that is where your skills shines the most or not. So compromising is one thing, and learning about people's point of view. So during this discussion, right, so we only have a very limited time to come up with the problem, which is around 2-3 days to create this feasible, marketable problem. So it was so difficult with that very limited time. Therefore, there were a lot of arguments of what actually works or not. If you think about it, everyone actually has a very valid point, and everyone has a very valid innovation. But which one would works well within the ASEAN region? Yeah. So there were definitely a lot of like fights, like arguments, but it was done professionally, I would say. Yeah, it was done professionally, and we all learned to kind of build on the dynamics. Although even until the end, the dynamic was still rough. But we did end up becoming really close throughout the program, and we learn more about than just prioritizing our own our own ideas and wanting our ideas to shine. So it was more what I learned overall. It's that despite all of us having this argument and all these different outlooks and different ideas, it shouldn't be seen as a barrier, but rather it should be seen as a strong point. It actually reflects the different realities that we have lived in. So it is all valid, and we just need to think of ways to work together and seeing which problem can actually be solved rather than that. Yeah, so learning to compromise, or learning to adapt, and actually grow empathy towards people, because definitely there's a lot of problems that may be critical maybe small in Brunei, but it's very critical in other countries. For example, on climate disasters, the problem. So in Philippines and in Thailand, they experience typhoon and all that, so they know that is their reality. But as for Brunei, we don't really experience that. So when they introduce that as being a critical problem, me as a Bruneian, I might see it like I'm not really sure if that is the most critical or that's the most feasible solution, because I don't know, I don't experience that. But although we didn't end up choosing that problem statement, at least I did learn about all these realities that they've been through, all the problems that it's existing in other countries. So yeah, that are some of the things that really highlight, the biggest highlight. I learned growing empathy in diversity and culture. Yeah.
I was just wondering, because the summit is also about leadership, right?
Yeah.
Did you have workshops or sessions on leadership?
No, we didn't have a specific. We didn't have a specific leadership workshop. It was built on something.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more on individual leadership, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, pushing yourself to lead. Yeah, yourself, and you can others.
When you were just sharing about that obstacle of working with people from different backgrounds and all that, I thought that was an interesting element of leadership, is that how we work with people from various backgrounds and how do you navigate that kind of situation, especially that the group was not chosen, right?
Yes.
By the delegates themselves. It was pre-selected, right?
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Yeah, I believe a lot of the leadership skills are something that are built upon throughout the workshop, but not taught practically or technically. Yeah.
Oh, you also mentioned that there was a Brunei side to this, right? Then going on to the Singapore one.
Yeah.
Can you talk a bit about that also?
So for the whole ACIYLS program, it happens in two different stages. The first one is the national level, and the second one is the regional level. So the national level is a 3-month program that was held by Think As Global, and during the 3 months we had to come up with a solution to a given problem statement. So the problem statement covers on SDG 11 and SDG 13, and during the last month, which is on September, we had the grand final pitching day, which 3 of the winners from the whole session, the whole ACIYLS, Brunei ACIYLS, gets to be selected to go for the regional level competition. So the regional competition level is a 7 or 6 days program, which happens in Singapore. The difference between the Brunei ACIYLS and the regional level ACIYLS is that first is the grouping and the dynamics of the whole structure of the program. In the beginning of the session, we were tasked to group ourselves among the people that we think would make a great addition for building this product, right? But for the Singapore one, we were selected to be in a certain group, so it was pre-selected groups. And then the second one, the difference is definitely in the time. For Brunei ACIYLS, we were given around 3 months to work on a particular solution, but for the Singapore one, we were only given around 6 days, but it was more like 3 days actually for the whole solution. So with this time constraint, there's also a lot of limitation and critical thinking that we have to do. So the difference is there are a lot more challenges during the regional level competition. And in terms of building up on the solution for the competition is that during the Brunei level, the national level competition, there were more time for us to really refine all the products and all that. Meanwhile, in the and also we also have a solution, I would say, product development phase for the Brunei program. Meanwhile, the Singapore one, we have to skip that part because we were only able to create concept and idea development, and also, of course, all the other entrepreneurship, which is on the feasibility and market size. That one we have to consider as well.
I'm sure you all had a lot of things that you all learned and you all went through. So I was just wondering, what were some of your key takeaway from like all this?
One thing that I would say what encapsulates all this whole program is like this new idea of entrepreneurship. So before coming to ACIYLS, is that I have a preconceived idea of what entrepreneurship meant, and it's more on money and money and business and trading and how we can make value, sort of like that. But after actually learning entrepreneurship through ACIYLS program, there's definitely a whole new idea on what entrepreneurship actually meant. So the most important lesson that I learned is that entrepreneurship, it's not about creating something new, but rather creating value from what's already existing. So that's the whole new concept I have towards entrepreneurship. So because when we think about, a lot of people think that when it comes to entrepreneurship, we think that we have to come up with something original and something that is never been done before, but that's not true at all. So entrepreneurship is actually creating value out of something that is already existing. With that, it also meant that we can use our existing skills and our passion, and we work on that to create something new and valuable. It's about taking the opportunity where it is. Yeah.
Do you have an example? That can help us? Yeah.
Okay, for example, when it comes to, for my group in the Brunei, let's just take the ACIYLS competition that we did. On my team Botanovi, we come up with a solution of creating a banana fiber menstrual pads. So this banana fiber pads is definitely not a new idea. It's actually an existing idea that we were inspired by, which is from India. It's called the sati pads. So this idea came from India, but this banana fiber pad is not available in Brunei. So that means that there's a market gap for us to create in Brunei. But we also need to oversee, do the people in Brunei actually need it or want it? So we oversee through surveys and asking people questions whether or not this is something that people desire, it's something that is marketable. And once we found out that there's a lot of people who actually would want to try and would actually want to transition to a more organic and natural and more safe paths. So that's when we further develop the product into its function and how it can be more useful and safer for people to use. So the key highlight there is that it's definitely the idea itself, the concept itself is not something new, but something that we took upon from an existing product, but we innovate it and we use that idea to put into context. And there's a market opportunity which we can apply this product on. So usually entrepreneurship, it's really about finding the right opportunities, taking opportunities when it is. It's not about creating something new. Yeah.
We wanted to ask as well because it's something that Brunei sent delegates to attend this leadership summit program, and we were wondering how do you find the program and what do you learn there that you feel is particularly relevant to what we are facing here in Brunei?
I think the idea of, again, the highlight about entrepreneurship, I think because something that is relevant to Brunei is definitely the fact that we are looking for to diversify our economy and our market, and this is where entrepreneurship comes in, where we need to teach the young people. This is where it's important for us to teach the young generation about entrepreneurship and how to make value out of what's already existing in Brunei. So this opportunity creates sort of a more drive for us to diversify our market. Yeah.
You think Bruneians can become entrepreneurs? It's not an impossible thing?
Yeah, definitely. Brunei, there's already existing grants, and I believe that we are going forward we are actually being progressive in terms of entrepreneurship. Although we see that a lot of entrepreneurship actually comes in F&B, but we definitely need to diversify. Of course, there's a lot of, I think, people in Brunei, I believe that we feel a bit constrained to start entrepreneurship. It's because we tend to think about the capital, which is definitely, obviously,
something to consider.
Yeah, something to be considered, which is the capital, and also I think that's the infrastructure also. Sometimes we want to start something and innovate something, but there's no actual infrastructure. There's an infrastructure gap that won't allow us to create this product that we wanted to. But definitely for us to make entrepreneurship more successful in Brunei is that there needs to be a youth, and not just youth, it's just it's the citizen as well as government to work together, because Bruneian is a very heavily we have a very close relationship with the government. So in order for something to work, it actually also should come from the government support as well. But talking aside from the government, us as individual, what we can do is like taking what's already around us. And I think a lot of Bruneians, the youth, are very clever nowadays. we do see a lot of new successful entrepreneurs that open up businesses and all that, and it's shown to be I would say successful. And however, sadly, it's only focused on F&B. So I believe that it's also because our Brunei market demands food and all that, and we are a big foodie. But honestly, we need to look beyond just that, and someone needs to be brave enough and to open up the new market. There's a lot of untapped market, such as AI and tech. We're growing as a more digitalized urban cities. So there is a lot of opportunities in that. And then we do learn in schools and universities about technology. So with the knowledge that we have on these specific technologies, or may it be on industrial revolution, IoT and all that. And with the knowledge that we obtain from school and university, mixed with this entrepreneurship skills, we could actually market our knowledge into something. There's something to be considered with our existing knowledge and information that we have. With this entrepreneurship skills, if combined together, inshallah, we can create a new market in Brunei. So we just need to believe in that.
Also in history, you can see that most of the time youth are the one that arise to the challenge whenever there's a challenge anywhere in the world. The youth population are the ones that will arise to the occasion. So the situation that we're facing here in Brunei, it won't be a big surprise if we see youth like taking it up upon themselves and like learning how can entrepreneurship work in other sectors other than just F&B. Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see. And I'm sure the delegates from Brunei that attended this youth leadership summit program would be happy to share their knowledge and like best practices, I'm sure. So if anybody wants to find out more about this program, is there somewhere we can go to?
The Brunei ACIYLS actually have their own Instagram, which is brunei.ACIYLS. Yeah, so you can definitely check that out. I do recommend a lot of people to check that page out because there's gonna be an open registration. There's gonna be an opening probably on mid-July, somewhere there. That's when the program usually starts. So you definitely can check it out.
Just curious, who should attend this? So you mentioned that there will be another intake for this program, right, for next year?
Yeah.
So then who are the people, who do you think are the ones who should attend this particular youth leadership
Honestly,
summit?
all youth. Anyone. So the requirement to join this ACIYLS program is just that you're youth between 16 to 25 years old, and if you attended university or high school, any Brunei institution, so you can definitely join. Specifically, if for people who just recently graduate, it's the right opportunity for you people to for you to learn something new. And entrepreneurship is definitely a great skill to have and a great experience for you to also have.
So you don't have to be studying like business or entrepreneur to join this?
I think coming from a very diverse background actually makes the best team or entrepreneurships. Like if you're not from business, if you're from agriculture or you're from architecture or you're from geology, all those other insights you have will be really relevant in developing ideas and innovating something new. Because if you only have those business accounting, usually you focus on the financial part, but these people who are from other sectors, they are the one who help you build on that innovation. Yes, and you can also check the ACIYLS Instagram. That's the regional ACIYLS, which you can check as well. The Instagram is ACIYLS. Yeah.
I was just thinking of like just now when we were talking about youth and taking up the challenge of exploring entrepreneurship in Brunei. Taking one point from what you mentioned, if we just think about the market in Brunei, it's very fast. You hit certain limits, right? But if we think about working in the ASEAN community, then there's so much more possibility. And like this youth leadership summit kinds of give a taste of how working with ASEAN would feel like, right? People from different backgrounds, different countries, different situations, and
definitely. Also the main highlight, I would say, the whole program that you get to learn only. I wouldn't say only in ACIYLS, but you can also learn in ACIYLS. Is definitely the experience of working with people from diverse background as well. And during one of our sessions, there's one day that we spent in Singapore in this one NCS building. Did I mention it earlier?
No, not yet.
Okay. So we actually during the first day of ACIYLS in Singapore, we get to visit this one company in Singapore, which is the NCS company. They're pioneers and champions of industrial technologies and also digitalization and AI and all sorts. So from there, we actually get to see the things that like innovation that perhaps we as a Bruneian we can learn and replicate and see what we can. There are certain things that we definitely can bring back to Brunei. Yeah, how we can use AI in the health industry and also in building construction industries and all that. So definitely. So the NCS group also had an opening. I'm just telling you this, that the NCS group had have a job opportunity open. So they open it for the delegates of ACIYLS.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Any like final thoughts or final message that you would like to convey to youth in Brunei or Brunei?
Okay, most definitely, I think this one goes to the people who often find themselves in dilemma, contemplating, or they feel that they are not good enough to join this type of program. That is not true. A lot of people feel that they perhaps don't have specific skills or communication skills, or their English is not good enough to go on a regional level. That is not true at all. I would encourage a lot of you guys to actually join this kind of program, because you get to know actually people. One of the I would say eye-opening and new realization that I had there is that the people that join this ACIYLS program, people from Philippines or from Thailand, Laos, they don't all have perfect English, which is, of course, we communicate all in English, right? So some of them speak English in broken tone, I would say broken English, but you get to understand them through their gesture and genuinity and sincerity, the way they talk. The most important part is that you need to focus when you're communicating, or when you're scared about communicating your ideas. It's focus more on delivering the ideas, because if you have good English but you don't have any idea what to talk to, so there's no point, okay? But if you have a good idea and your English might not be the best, the way when you communicate it, people can see it, people can feel it. Yeah. So don't be scared if you don't have the perfect English, or definitely I get that people tend to get a little intimidated when you hear someone with a big vocab in English, and also one of the things is also learning terminology. There's some people who's already in business and are already aware of the entrepreneurship terminologies. So for the newer people who are listening to that, would be a bit intimidated or scared to ask, like, what does that mean? Yeah. Instead of being afraid to that your English is not good, see it in a way that it means that you have a lot to learn. It's an opportunity to learn. A lot of people also ask me how I get in, and aren't you afraid? Like, I feel like they always say, like, I don't think I can do it, because I don't really have the communication skill. I feel intimidated to go on and speak to a lot of these people. To be honest, I was nervous too. I don't have the perfect, even now I would say I don't have the best communication skill. I still butcher all my interviews, and I butcher all my presentation. But it's about stepping forward and taking this opportunity to learn. So sometimes it's okay being the dumbest people in the room. Sometimes you need to put yourself in a room where you are the least smart people, the least capable. So in that way, you'd be the one who has the most to gain to learn. So don't be afraid. So what I was saying is that people from the diverse background, right? Only when you're going to this regional stage, you see that these smart people, they might not have the best English, but they have the right ideas to convey. So usually those resonated with me more. So sometimes the way you communicate, the genuinity of you saying the words that you meant, although it's not it's not the most eloquent way, but it is way more powerful than having a good English but very surface level idea. Yeah. So don't be afraid to join, definitely. And again, as I say, it's okay sometimes. You should be able to put yourself in a room where you're the least smart. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Athari, again
you.
for your time and all your sharing.
Yeah.
There's just, I know there's actually much more, but then
Yeah.
because of time and this is
Yeah.
all we can cover today. But still, yeah, thank you very much. Very appreciated. And if anybody wants to find out more, they can just go to the
Yeah, program, ACIYLS
program.
program.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can stop. Yeah.